All right. Clear my throat real quick. I'm going to try to loosen up in this video, see how that goes. All right. I want to talk about embodying Christ consciousness opposed to believing in a story, the fundamentalist perspective of Jesus died on the cross. I grew up in Christian fundamentalism. The problem I have is I think people need to focus more on embodying Jesus's teachings opposed to just believing in a story. I think it's popular to just, believe Jesus died on the cross, but actually not really embody any of his teachings. In a lot of ways, you see a lot of people that believe in Jesus, believe in the story of that he died on the cross and he died for people's sins. You see people believing in the story, but you don't see them making much of an attempt to not judge, to move in compassion, to have empathy, to be grateful. You see a lot of people, they believe, but they don't embody it. And I think the real message of Jesus was for people to move like him, right? To move like Jesus is my favorite spiritual teacher. He was really courageous and bold. Like he spoke truth to power, right? He wasn't a follower. He wasn't a victim, And so I think we need to learn to embody that energy, that fearlessness, that courage, that speaking truth to power, not pandering to people. That's one thing I love about Christ. Also, Christ was very giving and compassionate. You'll see the same people that are just, they'll die over the story, but you'll see them and it'd be like, well, where's the compassion? Where's the giving nature? Where's the gratitude? And so, and that's, I think, the mistake of Christian fundamentalism. It focuses so much on certain things like the story and people, and okay, you believe in the story, you're saved, and now you go to heaven and you're forgiven. When I think the true message of Christ was to embody him, to embody his state of consciousness, so you could actually change the world and help the world and make the world a better place. But I think we get so lost in division and so lost in these culture war things because we're not letting Christ consciousness, take control. We're letting our traumatized, fragmented egos, run the show. And of course, you need an ego, to exist in the world, but you don't want it to just take control, right? That's why I think, when Christians say Jesus take the wheel, I think that's about like letting Jesus's wisdom take the wheel and not your traumatized, fragmented ego that sees in division, that, is attention seeking and fearful and, and divisive. You know what I mean? I think that's what you want to take the wheel, that aspect of you, because you're a divine fractal of God. God isn't separate from you. And Jesus wants you to embody that. He wants to make more courageous people. He wants to make people more to live in unity, to see the oneness in everything, to have compassion for ourselves and for others, right? But it seems, in America at least, that it's more just about believing in a story, when I believe it's supposed to be more than that. It's we're supposed to walk, because you see, like, everybody damn near believes in Jesus, but it's like, why is everything so fucked up? And then I think it's because people don't embody it. People don't live it. They just believe it. They want that social, like, like, yeah, I believe in Jesus, I'm good. You know what I mean? Or I'm going to heaven, or, whatever, or I'm safe, I'm safe from hell. But like, embodying it is where the work comes in, because embodying it is difficult. It's difficult to not judge. The mind judges everything. And so it's challenging to not judge. I remember being in church, and it was like the most judgmental people would be judging as they're in church. And I think that's where Christian fundamentalism gets you, because there's not much of an importance on actually embodying it, and why you should embody the teachings, right? You see some of the most, it's about living courageous, not like waiting for somebody to save you. There's so much victim energy waiting for Jesus to come through on a cloud and save us, or waiting for some rich politician to save us. And it's like, no, you're supposed to be the leader. You're the one that's supposed to save us. You're supposed to embody the teachings and be the leader, not wait for a politician, not wait for some rich billionaire. You know what I mean? It's you. You're supposed to embody it. I believe he wanted to make disciples, but it's just about believing, right? Because believing is easy. It's challenging to step into that Christ consciousness. It's challenging to not be of the world, right? It's easy to be intimidated by the world and then stay silent. It's easy to judge. It's easy to be ungrateful, right? Jesus preached gratitude. He didn't, he wasn't like, of course, like, I understand, there's a lot of corruption in the world, right? People are victimized. It can be a very cruel world, but he wasn't trying to make people into victims. He was empowering people. Victimhood is low frequency, and you see on social media or whatever, people constantly being victims, complaining about the opposite sex, instead of like being creators, seeing how you're a creator of your reality, right? You see men complaining about women all day, victimhood. You see women complain about men all day, victimhood. And a lot of times we're creating by focusing on what we don't want. We're creating more of that. We're giving it all our energy. The men that hate women or that talk shit on women all day are creating more resentful, angry, bitter women. And the women are doing the same thing, talking shit about men on social media all day. They're creating more bitter, resentful men, instead of focusing on what you do want. So I think that's a lot of times, and I think collectively we're doing the same. we're doing the same thing. We get so focused on all the things we hate about the world, we give it all our energy and all our focus, because we don't realize we're creators. We think we're victims, but we're actually creators. And so we're creating a lot of the things that we don't want by feeding that energy, opposed to moving from victim consciousness to creator consciousness, and creating and being in a more high vibrational frequency, moving in empowerment, moving in compassion, moving in empathy, moving in oneness. We're all divine fractals of God. We're just different energies moving at different frequencies. You were raised in different cultures, different neighborhoods, different races, different genders, but it's all one thing. What we really are is the I am, the consciousness. Right? So, but we think we're the traumatized, fragmented ego that's bitter and resentful, and sees in division and gets caught up in thinking too much, overanalyzing everything, judging everything. A lot of those things are low frequency. We want to start to embodying like calmness, start moving in courage, because love isn't weak. Love isn't scared. Love isn't scared to speak its truth, right? Love isn't a victim. You look around and it's just like victims, victims everywhere. And then if you tell people they're not victims, you tell people they're creators, they might hate your guts. They're so attached to their limitations. They've been told their whole life that they're victims and sinners and no good, unworthy, you know what I mean? So their egos are so traumatized, But yeah, I think if we want to make a better world, we're not going to do it from a state of victimhood. We're going to have to move into a creator, not a victim. Because it's like, how long are you going to wait to be saved? How long are we going to just wait around to be saved? I'm only getting older. We're all only getting older. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the waiting for to be saved, just good luck. The more you wait to be saved, the more evil the people in power get, right? So that's why I love people like Martin Luther King. He embodied Christ consciousness, right? Like he moved, he was fearless, he was loving, you know what I mean? That we want to make people more like that, not a bunch of, victims. So like, of course, a lot of people have been victimized. It's terrible things, but we still don't want to move in that frequency. It's and nothing good comes out of it. You just be waiting forever to be saved, like waiting for, all these things that are these negative things to be fixed, waiting around for somebody to fix it. No, it starts with you. You got to be the change you want to see. And I know it's challenging. It's easier to stay a victim. It's, you know what I mean? It's challenging to face your own darkness, to face your own weaknesses, to face your own ignorance, right? It's difficult. It's not an easy path. That's why most people don't take it, But that's what I believe Christ wanted. you know. He wanted us to face our darkness. He wanted us to overcome, right? Overcome things, you know. But I think with you know, Christian fundamentalism, it's just, I think it causes a lot of division. Religion in general just causes a lot of division, opposed to like seeing things from the oneness of things. All right, I'm gonna end this live. You know, I hope y'all got something from that. Peace. Oh wait, you know what? I'm not done. I got some more shit to say. You know. Also, it's like the polarization is getting crazy. You know, it's, you see so much polarization between everybody, and it's like the more you see the world get polarized, you see the worse it gets. And I think that's because, again, we're coming from our traumatized, fragmented ego, seeing in division. You know, it's black versus white, it's women versus men, it's, you know, conservative versus liberal. It's everybody is so polarized in their traumatized, fragmented egos, and you can't even, you know, it's and the world is just getting worse and worse, and people are getting more like just stuck in hateful, just resentful and just angry. And I think that's where our egos get us, when we see it separate. But when we come from the I am, when we try to like calm our egos down a bit, then I think we can see things more clearly. A lot of times people are so attached to their political affiliation or whatever, they can't see the truth, because the ego needs to be right all the time. The ego needs to be right. And so we can't see other people's point of view. Right. And so I think it's really like, this country ain't gonna like do good in this divisive state. You know, it's just nothing but good, nothing but bad is gonna come out of it, right, in this divisive state. And so I think that's another reason why we need to start to separate from religion and embrace oneness. You know. All right. That's it. Peace.